All right, you guys, happy Wednesday. And somebody check on Noah, please. Here it is. Here it is. Poor Noah, my lawyer. Or rich Noah, my lawyer, because my legal life seems to be never ceasing. It just continues to go. Now, I've received my subpoena from Blake Lively today. I'll tell you what is in it, because in my opinion, she's kind of admitting that she cannot prove that there was a smear campaign. And I'll tell you why I think that and how I got there. Also, President Emmanuel Macron has sent me another strongly worded legal letter. It's strongly worded. And I gotta be honest, it's kind of getting weird. I feel like we're pen pals, like maybe he wants to be my friend. I'm not sure what he's looking for here. And lastly, internet, I need your help, because there is this Meghan Markle clip that's floating around and it has inexplicably infuriated me. And I'm not really sure why that is. So I'd like to test your resolve and see if you don't have a visceral reaction as well when I share this clip with you. All right, you guys, let's have some fun. Jumping right back into it. Where to begin? Where to begin? Okay, so one of you guys commented on yesterday's episode something along the lines of, I wonder what a day in the life is like for Candace, because everything is so crazy. And I can tell you, truly, no 2 days are the same. This morning, I woke up unusually late because I do co-sleep with my infant. I am not a doctor. Do not take my advice, but I do that. And he had the worst night of any night of his life. I'm not kidding. He's 9 weeks now. It was terrible. We were up every 2 hours. I was feeling so bad for myself, but also bad for him. So I'm usually outside of the newborn phase, the 4:30 a.m. wake up girl workout, but not in this phase, of course, because it's like infants are like Russian roulette every night. And last night I lost badly. So I woke up extremely late for me. I woke up at 7:30 a.m. and I was struggling. Okay. I wake up and I'm just like, I cannot do today. This hurts. Everything hurts. I already feel like I've lost because I didn't get my kids up. And the first thing I do is I look at my phone, and at 7:33 a.m., I dive into my most toxic text chain, which is my text chain between me, Savannah, and my PR agent, Mitchell, because there's always people just writing mean stuff about me all the time. And he's like, do you want to respond? Do you want to respond? So here it is, the text chain, 7:33 a.m., Mitchell comes at me, and he says that Andy, the popped corn guy that was named in the TMZ article, texted me. He got my contact from Emil Hagan. He said the process server arrived at his wife's house, so I imagine they will arrive for you today. And I said, yep, it's supposed to arrive today. So I'm ready, not even kind of ready, but I know that I'm going to finally get this subpoena. Gratefully, my husband brings me coffee. I'm trying to caffeinate myself. Everything else kind of seems like a blur in the morning, as it does when you have a lot of children. My team arrives, or at least we meet every day at 11 a.m. and we get started. And I'm not going to lie, Mark, the director, was looking excited. He was like, did you get the subpoena yet? Mark was like that because he was like, if no, then I'm going to be here for it. So when I told him no, he had a little gleam in his eye because he knew he was going to be here to catch the action. And sure enough, 42 minutes later at 11:42 a.m., we caught a photo of it. Here it is. That is the subpoena guy. He was so nice. He was like, Miss Owens, I'm a huge fan of yours. He was adorable. And I said, thank you so much. He said, but ma'am, I have a subpoena for you. I just love Tennessee. I just love the South. I love the accents. And I just love that people are such good human beings, and they just tend to love me. And so it was great. And so he was honored to serve me my subpoena, and I was honored to receive my subpoena from him. And of course, you know what I did there. I called Noah right away. I called Noah because as we try to comprehend what even is the legal strategy at this point when it comes to Blake's never-ending lawsuit, I needed to work through what her request, because there's something very weird here. The most compelling part of this subpoena that I'm about to show you, which I wasn't expecting, is the requested timeline of a documentation that they'd like, okay? This is page 9 of the subpoena. It's a lot of blah, 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 a bunch of words. I'm not reading this whole thing. Noah's going to read it, but this is page 9 because this is crucial to me. They're asking for text messages. And let me get it open on my page so I can't really see it that well here. But it says on point number 2, unless otherwise specified, each request concerns the time period from May 1st, 2024 through to present. Okay, what are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense. Let's slow that down here because I think we're realizing something. it would make perfect sense that the judge, as he did, would grant them some sort of a limited subpoena to go ahead and prove their point. Let's not forget, Blake Lively is suing, among many other people, Jennifer Abel, Wayfarer Studios, Melissa Nathan, because she believes that while she was in a contract with Wayfarer Studios, they undermined her by hiring a crisis PR firm in the form of Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel to plant awful articles about her, thereby ruining her brand, making people hate her on the internet. Essentially, she believes that that traffic was inorganic. Now, and they worked with some guy in Texas named Jared who had access to Reddit to make that happen. Nobody could actually dislike her answers about her hair products, which, by the way, she's mentioned here. She wants text messages even pertaining to her hair products. It's everything. So you file that lawsuit saying if this is real, it really happened on December 20th of 2024. It would follow that if you're going to subpoena people, you're going to need messages that took place before you filed the lawsuit saying that it already happened. But look what they're doing here. They're extending that. Why would you extend it? There's no way that you could extend it because it already happened in the past. If it happened in the past, it can't be happening currently. That doesn't make any sense. So what I think they're doing here is I called them, I'm like, this is weird. Obviously, she knows for a fact that we are not going to allow her to have access to every text message and email pertaining to her and Ryan Reynolds and Wayfarer Studios because she watched me live say, now that I'm interested in this story, which my interest began on January 25th. Now that I'm interested, I am opening up a tips line. And I am saying to all of the mommy sleuths and the daddy sleuths and anybody that's known Ryan or anybody that has an inside scoop to email me so that I have, something to share with the public about them. And sure enough, what happened? Everyone and their mamas and their teachers. We got Ryan Reynolds teachers that messaged me and said, here's a tidbit from who he was when he was in school growing up, blah, blah, blah. And we share that information. So she's literally subpoenaing, just to be very clear. She wants, I'm going to put it at 10,000 emails that we have received since we opened up this tip line. I went through it. I mean, I was like, this would be insane for you to ask me for this information. She's coming for the mommy sleuth. She's like, I want to know every Barbara and Sandy and Megan and every person that emailed you and Kyle and Kevin. We want to read your emails. Absolutely not. She knows we're going to say you can't read that. Of course she's going to say we can't read that. So why is she asking? Why is she? It's just like back when she was subpoenaing Justin Baldoni's messages and she said she wanted 5 years of messages from before he even met her. She wanted messages. And we said, okay, her strategy here is to ask for something that she knows that she can't get so that when the party that received a subpoena says, no, I'm obviously not giving you every text messages dating back to things that I sent to my grandma for Christmas 5 years ago, she can go, see? They're hiding something. Something must be hidden because they still believe that the public is still stupid to comprehend what's happening here. This is effectively a PR strategy. Of course, we are going to say we're not giving up all the people that gave us information. She knows that I have a source because I'm the one that revealed that it was Scott Swift who teamed up with Baldoni. So she's probably going, oh, who sent that to her? Was it Taylor? Are Candace and Taylor friends? Is Taylor trying to undermine me? This is a fishing expedition. That's what it is, a fishing expedition because she wants to know now who's talking trash about her. Wake up, sweetheart. It's everyone. Everyone dislikes you because after Brian Friedman dropped the receipts, we all got invested and we're covering this organically. Okay, then nobody's paying me. Nobody's giving me talking points. And so when I said to Noah on the phone, I said, call Michael Gottlieb. That's her lawyer who's signed this or sent this over, who's an idiot. By the way, Michael Gottlieb, if you're watching, no hard feelings, you're an idiot. See your strategy from actually, you might be smart because you might just be running up the bill here by first sending this ridiculous subpoena and then saying, no, I have to send another one. And I said, tell him we will willfully give him every piece of information that he wants leading up to when he filed this lawsuit. But obviously, we are going to assert reporter's privilege to protect our sources for how we got information about Blake Lively following her lawsuit being filed. I mean, common sense. And I said, beyond that, I'll even sign a sworn affidavit. What do you want? I had no communication with any party, not even a third party, somebody related to a party, to my knowledge, last year in 2024. I covered you for about 5 minutes in all of 2024. So what are you trying to prove here? If there's a smear campaign happening against you now, yeah, we all read your words. We read your messages. We read your Khaleesi Dragons, and we're kind of sickened by the way that you bullied Justin Baldoni. Like, we read it and we feel passionate about this case, and we're teaming up in the way that every parent and mother and woman and child that has been following this just wants to see justice brought to Justin Baldoni. But we're not inside a smear campaign. This is outside. You heard me say live. Send me tips. I want the deets. Steph with the deets wants the deets. You heard me live playing Steph with the deets stuff. You heard me live speaking about other TikTokers that we've been communicating with, trying to gather as much information and tips about you that we could gather. So it's sloppy. I think that's legal strategy, is to get these people like me and Steph with the deets to say, we're not giving that information, so they can go, oh, look, something is happening. Again, I will abide by your subpoena as it pertains to any time before you filed your lawsuit, but you are not getting access to 10,000 emails for your fishing expedition so you can find out who leaked to me about Scott Swift. That's ridiculous, okay? So that's what she's doing. That's what this is. And I told my husband we can put up this entire subpoena for you guys to read on the Candace Owens website. And it won't be the only one that's there, because now switching gears, this is amazing. I'm very proud of myself here. So on Monday, obviously, we dropped a nuke on France because, as I learned from President Trump, if you want peace, you got to drop a couple of bombs first, right? You just got to drop a couple of bombs and then say, I'm calling for peace. And that seems to have worked, by the way. Peace through strength. Because the result of Monday's episode has been pointedly fantastic. They're going to write us out of the books. They're going to say, oh, it wasn't because of you. It wasn't because of your podcast or your podcast listeners. They're going to write us out, guys. But we know what we know. Like, we don't know, but we know, okay? Because the very next day, after millions of people worldwide learned about his remarkable cowardice, the idea that he would fly to Trump and make this request for me to stop speaking about his wife's penis, and trying to tie that in somehow with peace between Russia and Ukraine. Those of you guys wondering how that would work, NATO, obviously. He was trying to orchestrate something via NATO, which would require Emmanuel Macron's signature. And you're never going to guess what happened. Following our episode, the very next day, tensions thawed. Emmanuel Macron called Vladimir Putin. Look at this headline. This is in Reuters. Putin and Macron discuss Iran and Ukraine in the first call in nearly 3 years. And that, my friends, like I said, they're going to write us out of this and pretend that this is not the reason why he did it. Of course it is. Just the backstory here, just so you know, is that he positively, I'm speaking about Emmanuel Macron, hates Vladimir Putin because 3 years ago, he had a conversation with Putin, which he thought was private. And Putin put him on blast. He was secretly recording it and put him on blast. Because, Macron just does stuff behind the Macron behind the scenes is not the Macron in front of the cameras. And Putin was trying to prove a point, and Macron was infuriated by this. And so he shut down all communication with Vladimir Putin, which is why even to open up the lines of communication, Trump had to try to broker that peace in that conversation. So suddenly we drop our information on Monday, and the very next morning, obviously a little bit of crisis PR. Oh my gosh, now people know that I'm that petty. Now, all of a sudden, he's like, okay, I'm ready to talk to Putin, and then publicize it. Look how presidential I am. Look at me. I'm amazing. And I think it's a little bit of PR, but I think it's good that tensions have thawed and they're having that discussion. Now, you might think that Macron would have been grateful to me for doing Monday's episode because I gave him a little kick in the butt that he needed to do something that should have been done a long time ago, to do something diplomatic. If you're actually interested in peace, you don't hold on to these little petty grievances. But no. How does Macron repay Candace Owens? With another legal letter. I'm not kidding. Noah says I received no legal. I go, you got to be kidding me. And this one is just all over the place, okay? This is first, in terms of the actual content of the letter, they write, for the first time ever, by the way, she's not President Macron's blood relative. They say that they stated this in February 3rd. You guys have access to that legal letter. And the one on December 3rd is the first one we received before we had any communication. So this is just a lie and a weird paragraph. And of course, they're not answering any of our pointed questions, which we asked them about whether or not she transitioned. But then they list, and this is just literally an appendix of statements that I have made online. You can start scrolling through this. None of this is defamation in America. None of this is defamation in America. It's really weird. It's a weird letter. Again, we're going to publicize this on CandaceOwens.com so you can read it yourself. But I just want to read a couple of these points because we're going, what are you suggesting here? Like you can't say that me tweeting, hey guys, watch this episode, pull it back up, Skylar. Hey guys, do you want to watch this episode is defamation. Like if it's, let's look at that point there. If it's really you, Brigitte Macron, and you didn't take on the identity of your sister, if it's really you, ... like that's not even kind of defamation. This is really strange. Brigitte Macron, perhaps, is Jean-Michel Trogneau. That is not defamation. Who are you really? And what is your relationship to Emmanuel Macron? That is not defamation. It's beyond weird. It looks like a dissertation of my tweets and of points from my episode, and they're sending me what I said, like I have Alzheimer's, and they're trying to remind me of what I said. And it's strange because once again, we've already hit back hard and said we are not getting in line. We've said, file your lawsuits, my friend. We'd like to force you. We'd like to compel you to answer these questions, not on just behalf of the French citizens who all know the truth, also on behalf of America, who knows the truth, and the entire world who has been watching this series. This isn't difficult. Lawsuits are good because you can go through the discovery process, because you can't just say, she has always been a woman and we don't need to lower ourselves. That's what she said in that first February 3rd letter. We don't even need to lower ourselves to answer your question because she knows she has always been a woman. Like, that's not how this works. We're asking you to give us like a yearbook picture. I don't know, anytime, like any yearbook photos of her in high school, anything before she met Emmanuel Macron, so we could substantiate these claims. We've offered to come out and interview you. That offer still stands. We'd like to get you on the record saying that you were born a woman. Could you just actually make that statement and say, without question, I was born a biological female? Can you tell us where Jean-Michel Trogneau is? You don't want to answer anything. And you're just sending me a dissertation of my tweets. It's very, very weird. And if you're just going to keep sending me these letters, how are we not pen pals? Maybe start by saying, hey, Candace, how are you? How's the baby? How's the kid? How's the husband? You just had a baby. You know, how are you feeling? I don't know. It's feeling strange. I don't know what to make of these consistent letters when we've already asserted ourselves back and said, let's play ball. Like when I know I'm right, check my record, I want to play ball. Come down to Tennessee. And they're doing this also. And like I said, this could be the law firm just running up the tab and taking their money and lying to them about what defamation means in America, lying to them because you have a 6-month runway before to file a defamation claim at all. They're asserting claims starting in January. That means you've got 20 days if you're going to file a lawsuit. So maybe it is. Maybe it is that law firm being sleazy and running up the tab and pretending that they're communicating things, but also knowing that they're not getting any answers to these questions from Brigitte because they don't want to answer the questions because the answers, well, I think if she answered the questions, it would signify that I told the truth about everything, you know? So it's weird. It's like they're playing a PR game. Everyone's playing a PR game and not actually wanting to go through the legal process legitimately to figure out who is telling the truth and who is lying. And speaking of lying, by the way, I saw that some people on the internet, this is so strange to me, they thought that I lied about the Trump phone call. Like I did tee it up and go, you're never going to believe me. But once I said the story, of course I expected you to believe me because how crazy would it be if I was like, I talked to Trump on the phone about Brigitte Macron's penis. And I would naturally expect that Trump would come right out and be like, she is fake news. She is fake news. It did not happen. Trump is the king of calling out fake news. I would not just get away with saying that, causing an international crisis. Like Macron would have called and been like, what craziness is this to Trump? You know, Brigitte would have pummeled him again. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. Obviously, I am telling the truth about the phone call. It took place. And just to also clarify, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I went back to that person that had initially notified me about everything. And I said, hey, look, like I'm planning on discussing this and doing another Brigitte series. So let him know that like, unless there's any restraints, I'm talking about this. Like I did everything the right way, guys. Come on, let's be clear. But to those of you that don't think the phone call happened, fortunately for you, a comedian has shared actual footage of that phone call. So its occurrence can no longer be disputed after this. This is a comedian named Tony Lapidus. His handle is at Tony Lapidus on X. Take it away, Tony.
Hi, Candace. How are you? It's Donald. Just wanted to say hello, see how you're doing. Make sure that everything's okay after I saw that little speech that you gave. That was a nasty thing you did. Well, it was nasty because you took a perfect phone call and you said something happened that never ever happened. You know that better than anybody. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, quite frankly. Just wondering if you could do me a little favor, and maybe just shut the up about Macron's wife's. Could you do that? Would you be able to do that for me, please? Yeah, I know about that, but I was pretty close to her, and I never saw a man. I saw something in her pants, but I don't know what it was. I mean, it could be, and if it was, I'd let you know in about 2 weeks. But for now, can you just shut the up about it? Because I'm in the middle of a negotiation with Macron to end the Ukraine war. I promised it to be ended within 24 hours, and it's a little late. But I'm in a negotiation, so I'd appreciate it if you could stop talking about that. That'd be lovely. Thank you very much. By the way, Macron did have a little bit of dandruff on his shoulder, but that's not the first time. Yeah, if you want, as a little reward, I'll come on your show. You know I'm great for ratings. But if you keep this up, you're starting to sound like your kooky friend Tucker Carlson, and except you'll be Kooky Candice. You want to be known as Kooky Candice? I don't think so. I don't think so.
There. Okay, it's undisputable. Undisputable that it actually took place. I loved that, by the way. The internet needs more humor. I really do think that people take themselves way too seriously, which is why we always try to keep this podcast, even though we cover a lot of topics, we try to keep it uplifting. I don't want everybody to be in a bad mood at the end of every week, despite all of the bad things that are happening in the world. Anyways, I need your help regarding Meghan Markle. I might have time to get to Operation Mocking Pastor as well. Some strange stuff happening in churches in the South. These dispensationalist churches are out of control. We should speak about that as well. We'll see what we have time to get to. But first, I want to tell you guys about Riverbend Ranch. I've told you guys about this already. If you haven't heard about them, it's time that you did, because their beef has more flavor and tenderness than any beef that I have ever tasted. The Angus herd at Riverbend Ranch is not your average Angus cattle. 35 years ago, using ultrasound technology, by the way, the owner of Riverbend Ranch began scouring the nation to identify specific purebred Angus cows that genetically produce a much higher level of marbling and tenderness than normal Angus cattle. After over 30 years of careful selection and breeding, Riverbend Ranch developed beef that has notably superior flavor and tenderness. They take great pride in the humane treatment of their herd. The cattle spend their days in the lush mountain meadows of Idaho and Wyoming, and they're raised without using any artificial growth hormones or antibiotics, and they age this premium beef for 21 days. I mean, it's actually real American beef. It is fantastic. Born in America, raised in America, and processed in America. Their beef is shipped directly from the ranch to your home. You absolutely have to try it. I already put out a challenge to people who are steak lovers. I am a steak lover. Find yourself a better ribeye. Like I said, tag me on Instagram. And if you tell me that you can find a better ribeye, I will be shocked, because I was shocked how delicious it was. So right now, if you use my promo code Candace at checkout, you'll get $20 off your first order. Trust me, you are going to be very impressed. Visit riverbendranch.com, promo code Candace. Also reminding you guys about Anyone.io, because when it comes to my personal privacy, Anyone.io has really changed the game. Their hardware protects internet browsing in my home for me and the family. It's been speaking out, or I've been speaking out rather, for years about AI warfare technology, how the Mossad, Palantir, and other agencies are actively spying on you and your family all the time. Anyone.io is the solution that I choose to protect my data, because unlike those corporate VPNs, the Anyone network cannot be compromised, as it's powered by people around the world. So there's no more cookies that are tracking me, no more governments paying attention to me. When I'm on the internet, I can be anyone, and you can be too. So protect yourself today. You'll get 40% off on the Anyone hardware device. Simply plug it into your router and enjoy a secure Wi-Fi connection to all of your devices. There's no subscription needed. Best of all, you can use the hardware to contribute back to the network and to earn back the cost of the device over time. So get yours today. Visit anyone.io and use my code Candace for 40% off. But hurry, because this deal is only valid for a limited time. Again, that's anyone.io with promo code Candace. All right, what should we start with? Should we start with Operation Pastor? Because I'm just going to show you this. Actually, yeah, let's do that. I'm going to show you guys a couple of clips. This has been interesting. And we've got to go deep on this. I think I maybe should have Dr. Taylor Marshall on the show, because there seems to be some panic happening amongst the dispensationalist churches. But I was flooded with emails of people going, yeah, my pastor said this on Sunday. My pastor said this on Sunday about you and Tucker. Here's just a little montage. We didn't want to make it too long, but a little montage of what's going on in dispensationalist churches. Take a listen.
Anti-Semitism is just exploding in the church. The ignorance is exploding. Conservative voices, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Mark Dykes, they don't get it. They say God's done with Israel.
Some of you listen to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, and these guys are anti-Semitic. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to say it. They're anti-Semitic, and their rhetoric is dangerous.
Maybe you're familiar with Candace Owens. Candace was someone 3-4 years ago I was so impressed by. Smart, articulate, generally, has a more conservative worldview. But she has gone off the rails. She is a full-blown anti-Semitic, Jew-hating person. And her theology is a part of that.
And he asked Ted Cruz, the first question, what's the population of Iran? I don't know. What's the favorite flower of the Iranians? What's the national animal for Iran? How does that change anything, Tucker, about them going nuclear? It's like Tucker's asking Luke Skywalker, what is the population of the Death Star? I don't know, but it needs to go away. Tucker, are you an idiot?
That's what actually Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, others are saying. We should not get involved with the conflicts in other nations, right? Well, number one, it's not that simple. Again, this is a regime that wants to wipe America off the face of the map, in addition to Israel.
I am speechless, man. I am just... Here's the thing. Here's the trouble that people are having with canceling me, because I've thought about this. I'm like, why are they struggling with this? The problem is that if people are listening to my podcast, they probably are not the kind of person that can be easily programmed. That's what I would say. Like, they're not listening to me because they agree with everything that I say. That's definitely not the case. I like to go to my audiences for feedback because I'll adjust things and hear their feedback. It means that they're already at the stage where they can think critically. So you're not going to have such an easy time with Operation Mocking Pastor. You're not going to be able to just say stuff and expect them to just go, oh, okay. They're going to go, wait a minute. They're going to do their own research. They're going to come at me with facts if I'm missing something. Like, it's the wrong audience for that. And it's funny because I remember way back in the day, before Kanye's 112th cancellation, he said people that are fans of Kanye West are not fans of Kanye West. They actually are fans of themselves. They believe in themselves, and they know that they can be something in this world. And it's the same sentiment that I think that people that watch the show just want to think critically. Like, they actually are the critical thinkers. That's why I have this tips line. I'm learning from them. They're learning from me, and we're all researching together. But that is pretty stunning. And it didn't stop there. It was also, here's just a little bit of Instagram. Like, there is this dispensationalist panic. Take a listen.
What is happening with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens right now? Genesis does say, I will bless those who bless you, and I'm going to curse those who curse you.
I'm sorry, but we cannot just keep letting people get away with this. I'm talking about the Tucker Carlsons and the Candace Owens and everyone who screamed that World War III is coming the literal second that America or Israel acted against Iran.
If you're a Christian, please do not get your beliefs on Israel from Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens. Get your beliefs from the Bible.
Brothers and sisters in Christ, do not listen to people like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. At this point, cut them off. They have that same demonic spirit flowing through everything that they're saying.
Well, you heard them. What are you 43,000 people doing right now? They told you to stop. It's so foolish. I don't know if everything was always this fake and gay, if we're just hearing it more. Like, it hits different. Like, it's so obvious now. I can't explain it. It's so obvious what people are doing. It's so obvious this has always been a psych game, that it's all about, can we create a psychosis if we keep saying 6 feet social distancing, 6 feet social distancing, save lives, wear a mask, save lives, wear a mask. Like, we get it. We get that people have done experiments and they know that if you repeat things enough times and people will just accept it to be true. But I feel like that we're in the midst of a turning point worldwide with that, because we're aware of that now. And I think it's a post-COVID mentality where many people did fall in line with the COVID narrative. I wasn't one of them. But I think once they woke up to that and they realized how lied they were, you can't do these sorts of operations anymore. Like, you can't do these mockingbird operations. Candace Owens and Tucker, I'm about to make a video. What's the bounty? I'll do it right now. What happened to Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson? It says right here in the Bible that we'll be blessed if we go to war, and we have to go to war. What happened? It's just crazy that they don't want to send American troops to die. So what happened? What happened? What happened? Weird. Just wanted to share that with you. It's just weird out there. Totally weird. Okay, now I got to get something off my chest. You know, I really do. I have to get something off my chest. And I need feedback. I need guidance because we're all in need of feedback and guidance sometime. You know, none of us are perfect. I'm trying to be a better person every day. And I just was on Instagram. This is not a new Meghan Markle clip. It isn't at all. It's presumably an old one. I think it is from her sit down with Drew Barrymore, which might have been a couple of months ago, but I just saw it for the first time. And I was instantly enraged. I was instantly enraged from this like 10-second clip. It just annoyed me. And so I want you to listen to this 10-second clip, or however long it is. And she's just talking about her life at home while she's on this press tour for her brand as ever. Take a listen.
I always make it a point when I'm traveling, if I can't do bedtime stories with my kids, because Archie and Lily are just 3 and 5, so I'll always pack a really thin book and I'll videotape myself reading it. So whoever's with them, or Papa can say, here's Mama reading your bedtime story. You find ways to show up for each other. And if that's the one thing that I can convey through the show or through As Ever as a brand, I want people to know you can show up for each other because you know how good it feels when someone shows up for you.
How are you guys feeling right now? What is it about her and that just infuriates me? And so I sent it to my former executive producer and my current executive producer in a chat. And I was like, what is this? Why do I feel angry when I listen to that? What, like, is it me? Am I tired? You know? And she said back, there is something incredibly condescending about the way that she speaks to us. Like, this is supposed to be relatable. This isn't relatable at all. First off, it sounds fake. That is not... It sounds self-indulgent. I'm away for one night, so I record myself and I take a book and I read the book and I sit and I hold the book and I'm like, I do not want green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. Would you like them in the dark? Would you like them in the park? I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. Would you like them on a train? Would you like them in the rain? And then I finish reading this book to myself, a thin book, and then I send it to my husband who's doing bedtime because that's normal. Papa's in bed with the kids. That's normal. And I say, show them the video of me reading the book as opposed to you just being a dad and reading the book. That annoys me. Stop condescending us. That doesn't make you sound like a better mom. It makes you sound like really kind of into yourself in a way. Like, that's just not necessary. That's annoying for your kids who are 3 and 5 and therefore don't have an attention span to watch mom read a book while all of it just really, really sent me. Okay. It just really sent me. And then as we were trying to land upon that, I was like, yes, it is condescending. There's something condescending and unbelievable about it and annoying for her children. So, Skylar pointed out to me that Tim Dillon did this clip, and just so your ears, he's going to say the B word twice. I do try to spare you guys any swearing, but he describes her very well. And he does this by taking a look at Meghan, who, like, there's always a conversation she's having, but there's an undertone to everything she says. And I feel like he explains it perfectly when he looks at this clip of her speaking to Mindy Kaling and getting triggered by the fact that Mindy Kaling calls her Meghan Markle, but then she tries to like calm down her rage about being called Meghan Markle. Take a listen.
All right, let's watch a little bit of this.
Including her pal.
You can take me out of this, Mark.
I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it.
It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now.
Yeah. What she's saying to Mindy Kaling is, listen to me, you fat bitch. See, this is what she's saying to Mindy Kaling. She goes, listen to me, you fat bitch. You know, she is such a monarch, Meghan Markle. And in the history of the world, the Meghan Markles of the world would be, you know, oppressing the Mindy Kalings. Because Meghan Markle's like, listen, you bitch. My empire ran your for years. Don't call me my dead name. Don't call me my dead name. That's not my name in these streets. My name is Sussex. You bitch. Is there any other interaction we can see?
Kids, and you go, no, I share my name with my children.
Yes.
And that feels so, I didn't know how meaningful it would be to me, but it just means so much to go, this is our family name, our little family
Would
name.
it mean a lot if it wasn't royal, though? Would it mean as much? Do you see her eyes? Do you see her eyes? She's doing an impression of a human being.
Bingo.
But the most interesting thing about Meghan Markle is that she's not a human being. Never become a human, honey bunny bear. Don't ever become a human being. She'll be so unhappy as a person. The best version of Meghan Markle is exactly the one you are seeing right now. She is completely, her lust for power, for status, for fame is so naked and so transparent. The demon inside of her is coming out of her eyes, and she's trying to be a human being, only enough, just be enough of a human being for the show.
I am sorry, but, and genuinely, I don't even mean to attack her. there was something frustrating about her, and I think he hits the nail on the head. It's like she's playing a human being. Like it's a performance. It's season 3 of some show that we're watching where she is required to pretend that she's a human being. And there's an element of it that drives me insane, that she just cannot communicate in a way that is relatable at all. It's like, why would you record yourself reading a book? That's really frustrating for you to say. Why would you do that? That's not necessary. Just let dad read his book. And especially to do it in the sentence that you're saying it's because you need to present your, as ever brand. You're like, oh yeah, and that's what I want to communicate in as ever. That's what you want to communicate in as ever? That we should be recording ourselves reading Green Eggs and Ham if we have to spend one night away from our children. Like, I don't want to do that. So I'm out. I guess I'm out on the brand. I'm going to show you one more funny clip of him. And by the way, I see you guys in the chat earlier who had mentioned Diddy. I do have just one thing to say about Diddy, and I will say it. But first, one more clip of Tim Dillon because he nails it again about Meghan Markle. Take a listen.
She'll get the things she wants. Yes, we all hate her, but it doesn't matter. She doesn't care that we hate her. You know why? She hates us. That's why she wins. She hates us. She hates us. She thinks we're pigs. We're disgusting. We don't know how to use silverware. She thinks we're all Sieg Heiling in our backyard. We're just a bunch of fat Nazis who don't know how to make a proper cupcake. She hates us. She thinks we're pigs.
Yeah, I do think she hates me too. And that's what makes it okay. I think it's like, it's mutual. Like there's something there. I don't know. There's something there. Okay. By the way, guys, for you guys talking about the Diddy case, I already said this. It's a show trial. That's why I didn't cover it. It's so clearly a show trial. We didn't get Christina Karam. We didn't get Lucian Grange. We didn't get the Universal execs. If you read through Little Rod's lawsuits, Diddy was not at the top of the ring, okay? And it sounded like it was a Fed operation. And so it was a show trial because the Feds are never going to reveal the Feds that are in control of an operation. And the minute that they did not bring Christina Karam, the involvement that this woman had, apparently it's like having a Jeffrey Epstein trial and not like a public Jeffrey Epstein trial and not mentioning or bringing up Ghislaine Maxwell. Like that's how you know it was a show trial. So this whole fake, oh my God, I can't believe you got away with it. Of course you got away with it. This was a Fed operation. That is my viewpoint. I am never going to change it. I think he's the Jeffrey Epstein of the hip hop world. He was doing what he was supposed to do and what he was told to do. And we're never going to get any information because now everyone's gotten their show trial and there are people on the streets that are pouring baby oil on top of themselves. I'm not kidding. His fans and supporters, as a show of support, it's disgusting. I'm laughing at just the state of humanity today. And I'm maybe asking for a reset. We just need to reset on humanity, just kind of back to the factory settings here, because women are in the streets throwing baby oil on themselves, excited that he is found not guilty on the bigger charges, on the 2 biggest charges. And so he's kneeling and yay, it's just, that's what a show trial is. It's meant to make everybody feel like justice has been served, or at least justice was attempted to be served. We did the right thing. We got a jury of his peers and they came back and decided he wasn't guilty. And then the feds keep doing what the feds do. I still believe that it is a drug operation. I believe that guy who was one of Diddy's sex slaves who said that that's what it was, that these rappers are given money, the feds are giving it to them, they're giving these planes, they move drugs, and they collect blackmail. So I'm not interested in show trials. I'm not interested in pretending that this was a real trial. That's my final point on that. Okay, before I get into your comments, reminding you guys about Patmos, because my website at CandaceOwens.com, where you can go right now if you'd like to read the full Emmanuel Macron email, I didn't want to read because it's just long and rambling and it means nothing. But there it is on our website. Pow! Macron's letter. You can check it out. How we revamped our website earlier this year is because we used the team over at Patmos. Patmos is the most trusted alternative to big hosting. With multiple data centers and a U.S. customer service base, Patmos provides us with tremendous value for our hosting and web development needs. And we can do something that fast, just getting up that letter as soon as we receive it. Their team is great to work with. Their service is excellent and their hosting is secure. And best of all, their clients' hosting bill of rights, which I've linked in the show notes, it allows me to speak my mind without the fear of being canceled by my web host, regardless of whether they agree with what I say or not. It's refreshing to know that there is a reliable tech company that's actually dedicated to free speech on every level. Thousands of businesses trust Patmos every day for guaranteed uptime. From web design to hosting, Patmos is the best kept secret. So discover why businesses are saving big with them by visiting patmos.tech. And you can make that switch today. Again, that's patmos.tech. Lastly, I want to remind you guys about American Financing, because if you could delay 2 mortgage payments, why wouldn't you? Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket and finally getting a little bit of breathing room. It is totally possible if you call American Financing today. If you're feeling stretched by everyday expenses, that means the groceries, the gas, the bills, you're not alone. Most Americans are putting these expenses on credit cards, and there does not seem to be any way out. Well, American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off that debt. Call American Financing today before you get to a point where you can't make those payments. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you restructure their loans and consolidate debt, all without any upfront fees, and their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise annually. It's fast, it's simple, it could save your budget this summer. So don't wait any longer. Call American Financing today. The number is 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210. Or visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. That's americanfinancing.net/Owens. All right, let's get into some of your comments. First up, we have William. He writes, oh my God, I checked my calendar. Time to kick into the Candace Owens fan club. By the way, guys, if you want to join the book club on Tuesday, we will keep reading the Hollywood Babylon book. I think we're actually wrapping that book up. And then also, if you go to the website, there is a new Shot in the Dark episode that is available as well. This time we're talking about the vaccines they ask you to take during pregnancy, which is absurd. Now it's like, oh, to protect the baby. It's getting crazy. I'm so sick of Big Pharma. Shout out to RFK, who just went on Tucker Carlson and revealed a fact about autism and a study being linked to the Hep B vaccine, which I have declined for all of my children for reasons that you can find on the Candace Owens website. Okay. CR writes, congrats on your subpoena being delivered by a nice man, a fan. He was so sweet. I just love Tennessee. I love the South. I love these people. Ben writes, have you considered John Lennox as someone to have on your show to discuss Christianity with? Also, what are your thoughts on this trend of child brain rots plaguing the internet? I must be old. I don't know what it is, and I'm assuming that I must be old as well. So I'm going to have to find out exactly what that is. I'm open to speaking. Actually, I should be going on a lot of podcasts. There's so many people that have podcasts that are dedicated to discussing the faith. And this moment where a lot of people are emailing me and saying that they're leaving their church because they're very kind of, I guess, weirded out by the sudden Fox News sermons. Like, you're sounding like Fox News when they're trying to convince Americans that they should go to war. If you're going to do your whole sermon, and by the way, we pulled out just quick clips, but if you can go and watch any of those pastors, the entire sermon is basically Mark Levin on Fox News. And at a certain point, it's going to wake people up to going like, what am I listening to here? This is not what I should be hearing at church. Like, when I go, I've never in my entire life would have heard my priest say anything overtly political that when we get the homily. So it's very strange. It's definitely a moment. And I would like to contribute to that conversation by going on other podcasts of people who are much smarter than me and have been Catholics for a lot longer, and people that have been theologians and are way more brilliant and deeper on the history of the church and the church fathers. So yes, the answer, I would like to do that. And I would consider everyone. Art writes, working in intelligence and supported special operations. The book that PSYOP uses as a manual of influence is Influence by Rob Cialdini. Rob Cialdini is spelled Cialdini for people that are listening to this. And he continues, and those influencers are using a framework right out of that book. So yes, that is a psychology book that my producer is writing, was published in 1984. What a time. Something happened in 1984, right? Robert B. Cialdini is a professor of psychology at Arizona State University. So apparently that's what we're seeing. And yeah, we get it. Like, these psyops are just not working the same. They're not landing the same. And I think actually it's sowing distrust amongst the people that participate in them. Abigator777 writes, is Legacy News still controlled by Project Mockingbird? Yes, it was never discontinued. If so, how is this possible with Trump and his appointees in office? How are they still allowed in the press room when it's known that they are fake? I mean, look, Trump made his whole campaign back in 2015, you are fake news, calling them out. You all say the same things. You all spread the lies. We know this irrespective of Trump because we watched it during COVID. The live ticker of deaths, as if like CNN gets to find out from all the morgues, they get live reporting. I mean, that is a psychological operation, which was meant to convince people to get a vaccine. And that's why we speak about it on the show every day, because I want people to kind of, you have to exercise your mind almost. You have to see these things and take a step back and listen to it. And essentially, you train yourself to recognize it when it's happening. I'm always skeptical. I'm like, okay, all of you guys just woke up one day and as pastors had Candace and Tucker on your mind. They don't even work together. Like, that's weird. It shouldn't have been like Tucker and Ted Cruz. Like, that was the moment. But you're kind of going after anybody that was anti-war. So who's behind this? It sounds like maybe the war machine might be behind this. That's how my brain works anyways. Natalie writes, why wouldn't Meghan Markle just FaceTime with her kids? Thank you, Natalie. Thank you. That feels like relief to me because that's what I said. I'm like, even if you're out, you, which I do, you FaceTime your kids before bed. That's what I mean. It's like she's performing as a human. She's like trying to be a human. He really hits the nail on the head with that because we know that normally you just call them before you say, oh, FaceTime before bedtime. And then George FaceTime me, you say bye. And they're like totally running around because I have children the same age. They don't even really want to FaceTime with you because they don't have the attention span for that. Like, hi, mommy, mommy. And then they're running around. And then your husband's overwhelmed. He's like, okay, bye, you know. But just recording yourself reading a book, a thin book that she packs, drives me crazy. But it's okay because she hates us too. Joe Sellers writes, you have been doing great work, Candace. Thank you for defending truth, femininity, and life. Your husband and you have helped me fall in love with my Catholic faith. Ave Maria. I love that so much. And I hope that people are always feeling happy and positive. And I just want, when you go out into the world, be a happy warrior. If you find yourself just in a dark place, then I'm not doing a good job on this podcast. I've done that before. Like, I feel like I took the red pill and then you take the black pill where you're kind of depressed when you realize how things are and you're wondering what's real. And then you kind of take the white pill, which is the Christ pill, and you realize it's all going to be okay. It is all going to be okay. I promise you guys. Rachel writes, I appreciate you speaking on your diverse audience. I've been left-ish. I like left-ish most of my life, but I love your work. Unity on both sides of the aisle is what they don't want from us, and it's what we need. I agree. That's why I've stopped speaking in that way, left versus right, because it's pretty obvious that the power stays the same at the top. The elites are the elites, and they benefit from us warring with one another, like black versus white, homosexual versus heterosexual, tall versus short, skinny versus fat. Like, literally, it's crazy. And I think most people are somewhere in the middle. We have our disagreements, and we're going to have those. And you should challenge yourself to just say, I disagree. And that's okay. I shouldn't want this person to be dead. And we're all better for it. Lastly, Samuel Wishman writes, hey, Candace, I've been thinking about you and about your conversation with Trump a lot this week, and him trying to bribe you with an interview rubs me the wrong way. Have you thought about it at all? I didn't really take that as a bribe. I just kind of took it as Trump being Trump. Trump is very braggadocious. It's actually kind of one of the things when you're around him, he's very endearing. I don't know how to communicate that when he's not around, but when you meet him, he's very warm. He's very endearing. That's why he had a television show for so long. You can dislike Trump through the lens of the media when they take something he said out of context, or they give you like a little bit of a clip. It is very hard to dislike Trump when he's in the room. Like, he is a deal maker. He does know, like, he's got the it factor, whatever the it factor is. And he's very funny, and he's self-deprecating, and he's aware of himself. And so, I'm great for ratings. It's like just something that he would say, and not as a bribe. He would just say that because it's Monday, you know? And he's just in the Oval Office, and he's just like talking to himself, like, I'm great for ratings. It's who he is. He's braggadocious. And that's why I just bragged back. I didn't take it as a bribe. And if it was a bribe, then it obviously didn't work. Because I said, I'm like, you know, I'll agree for this short term to do that as you are trying to do this NATO thing that ended up not panning out and working in the long run anyways. Anyways, you guys have a happy 4th of July weekend. We're off tomorrow for the 3rd, the 4th. Have a long weekend. Think about things. I'm sorry that Blake is trying to subpoena you all, but I will protect you. Don't worry. I will be asserting reporter's privilege for any messages beginning in 2025 that I received from my fans or anybody involved in the case as well. And that's it. Let's see if I can get through the 4th of July weekend, which is difficult in my house because my husband's British. It's a very difficult holiday. I want to celebrate, but he looks at me and I think he's thinking the colonies are out of control. He looks at me like he thinks that I'm in the colonies. And so it's not a happy holiday here. But we're going to try to get through it without me being served anything at all. And it's probably not going to happen. Probably there will be a process server, and I'll tell you about that on Monday.